Give it up. Lyle Donnelly, the Donnelly team. All right, I'm all smiles today, man. I'm in a good mood. You hear me? I'm in a good mood. All right, so I'm going to bring someone up to the stage who I touched upon a little earlier and spoke about. And he is a friend more than anything else, an astute business individual who's had to pivot several times throughout his journey and career. The Freedom Coaching Program, it offers one-on-one coaching, online platforms, free weekly webinars. After 9 years in the Marines, and let's give it up for that, guys. Come on, guys. 9 years serving our country. Hold on. Man, that's...
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough.
I wasn't done introducing the man. Give me a second. 9 years in the Marines, 17 in real estate. Dave found a way to merge the two disciplines into coaching agents and into saying his very famous words of inspiration, and that's to take action. Without further ado, help me welcome my friend and someone who helped put this entire thing together. We couldn't have done without you, David Kurz. Come on up, man.
DJ Khaled. Yeah. All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up.
All right, is my mic working? Yes, I love this. All right, so I'm going to do something a little bit different. Can I do that with you guys? I'm going to get vulnerable with you today. Can I do that with you? How many of you know vulnerability to the core? How many of you feel that you are truly vulnerable with yourselves? Not a lot of hands go up. The guys are like, fuck that. I'm a man. Listen, guys, we're going to have a great conversation today. And that conversation is going to start immediately with vulnerability. Now, who's the number one person in the world that you have to, without a doubt, be vulnerable with? Somebody said it, yourself, right? You. You know, I often coach a lot of agents, I often coach agents, and agents will tell me, I'll ask them, what's your vulnerability point? What's your why? And you know what the number one answer is? My kids. Who here thinks their why is their kids? I'm going to call bullshit on that. Here's why. If you don't exist, what happens to your kids? Do you feel my point right now? If you don't exist, if you lack to be vulnerable and self-care yourself, and you put other people ahead of you, I don't care if they're your kids, I'm being honest with you. If you put other people ahead of yourself, how do you stay strong enough, healthy enough, sane enough to help them become adults and go do the same thing? Can you? Yes or no? No, you can't. Now, I'm going to need a lot of interaction from you guys today. So with vulnerability, we're going to have a couple conversations. Do I have your permission to get super personal with you today? I'm going to tell you guys a couple stories today that are just between you and I. It's a secret. You cool with that? Okay? I'm going to tell you guys some stories about me. And the reason I'm going to tell you these stories is because I want you to understand how I became who I am today. And some of you don't even know me, which means I'm not doing a good job in my backyard. How many of you guys know me? Awesome, 5 of you. It's fantastic, right? I'm going to take a moment to get personal with you. Can I dim these lights over here real quick, guys? You guys get control of the lights, right? I'm going to get personal with you guys real quick. And we're going to have a focus moment. You guys cool with that? Now, I promise you, when we do this exercise, no one's going to steal your wallet. I want you guys to do me a favor and close your eyes. And I'm going to sit down here with you guys. Look, I got this girl over here. She was in the Army. She's looking at me like, close my eyes. You're out of your fucking mind. Close your eyes, guys, for a minute. Just for a minute. Get vulnerable with me just for a minute. Get personal. I want you to think about where you are in your life today. I want you to think about the most important people in your life today. I want you to think about what those people mean to you and why you're here today. I would assume that a part of why you're here today is to make a better life for them and for you. Now I want you to think 5 years ahead. Where are you 5 years from now? What have you accomplished and what have you accomplished for them? How are they? Are they healthy and strong? Are you healthy and strong? Are you capable? 10 years from today, think for a moment. Where are you? Where are they? You got a 5-year-old that's 15 now in your head? How is he or she? What have you been able to accomplish for them? Soak that in for a minute and open your eyes. How many of you had a moment like in the movies when the clairvoyant closes her eyes and they see the destruction of the planet and everything blows up? How many of you had that moment just now? No one. No one. Do you know why? Because the future is bright. You have nothing to worry about. Am I wrong? You know why? Because failure is a lie. It's a lie you've been taught. Constantly people tell you to fail forward. Am I wrong? Why would you do that? Why would you purposely fail to get ahead? So I want you guys, in the count of 3, we're going to read what's on the board here, okay? The future looks bright. I have nothing to worry about because failure is a lie. You with me? 1, 2, 3. Do you believe it? You know why you believe it? Because you just took a moment to visualize what your life looks like 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Can I still get personal with you guys? When I started my company, the Freedom Organization, it was 2020. What were we doing in 2020? Before the boom, we were freaking out, right? You know what I did? I hired a coach. Because in 2020, something happened to me that I never thought in any world would happen. I got sued. How many of you have been sued before? Is it fun? Freaking sucks, right? It's a horrible situation to be in. Now I'm getting sued. It's 2020, and COVID hits, and I'm on a motorcycle in Tennessee, and my wife and I are driving around the country to raise money for children who are abused. We just decided to do that because when COVID hit, there was nothing else to do. I looked over at my wife sitting on the couch. I said, hey, you want to go on a motorcycle ride? She goes, where do you want to go? I go, I don't know, California? She goes, sure. She's gangster. By the way, she rides her own bike. And it's not a baby girl bike either. It's like an Arnold Schwarzenegger fucking shotgun in the back type shit, okay? She pulls up to places and people look at her, get off the bike, and they go, I used to want that bike. Now it just looks like a chick bike to me. When we started this company, I hired that coach and all this shit was going on in my life, and she challenged me. She challenged me to really think about my why. She challenged me to really think about why I was doing what I was doing and how I was feeling about not having any business happening. I didn't know the market was gonna blow up. Did you know the market was gonna blow up when everybody got stuck at home? I didn't know that was gonna happen. I was like, we're fucked, okay? And when all of this was happening, this lawsuit comes in while I'm on a motorcycle in Tennessee, and I barely have time to even find an attorney that would help me with it because I'm traveling. I'm 8 hours on the bike. By the time I saw this, I didn't know what the hell was going on. You guys with me? So I hired a coach, because, you know, that's what normal people do, right? And this coach, she tells me, she goes, we need to really dig into what you want. And at that moment, it took us 3 weeks, by the way. 3 weeks, twice a week we spoke. And we talked about what direction I needed to be in. And she kept pushing me, what's your real why? What's your real why? And I went through all the same shit you guys would do. My kids, my mom, my life, my business, you know, the people that work for me. Everyone you love except for yourself. And then we got to one word, freedom. Why? Because I wanted to have full freedom. See, a lot of people are gonna resonate with this. Who here would love to have financial freedom? Show of hands, put your hands in the air. Right? Somebody clap. We'll do the clap thing because that makes more noise. Right? Here's the better part. Who would like to have location freedom? Right? Think about that. If you could work from anywhere in the world, would you be fucking here? So, like 4 people say yes, everybody else was like, Puerto Rico! You can always count on that with Boricuas in the room. So, when we got down to it, it was really about freedom, wasn't it? The freedom to have enough financial resources to take care of myself and all the people around me, to fight a lawsuit that was looming. Location freedom, to be anywhere in the country I wanted to be, like on my motorcycle traveling 7,000 miles over 6 weeks, without ever having to worry about my business. Are you guys with me on this? Awesome. What do you think the plan is? Now, think about this. I'm going to give you a clue, right? The plan. Is it short term or long term? Go. Long term. You guys are hearing that a lot today, by the way, right? Why do you think you're hearing that more than ever? Because for the last 2 years, the market has been fire. And many agents, many of you have only thought about the short term. And this market's going to do something very special. This market is going to weed out everyone that was not working in their business over the last 2 years, everyone that just ran into a new piece of business, everyone that accidentally tripped and fell onto a listing. This market will weed you out. But it'll also help the cream rise to the top. Everyone who hustled and worked hard in their business over the last 2 years, if you continue to do that, you're gonna rise to the top. I call it the TGI Fridays effect. Can I tell you a story? Can I tell you a story? Yes? Now, some of you might get offended because you might work at TGI Fridays now. If you do, sorry. In 2006, who here was in the business 2006? Applaud. Some of you, you know how that, you see how the light that is? You know what that means? The rest of you are in for a lesson right now. Because if you've been in the market for 10 years or less, the only thing you know is an ascending, rising market. You have no fucking clue what's coming. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it today. Those of you who remember 2006, you remember that you could do a closing and then another closing at the same fucking closing table in 20 minutes. Wasn't it amazing? 3 commissions in a row, and I was one of the buyers. I would buy it from this guy and sell it to this guy. I would make $30,000 plus 3 commissions. It was amazing. It was the craziest market on the planet. What happened in 2008? The whole thing crashed, right? 2006, I get in my car with a client, and I'm going to show him a condo at the Waverly because I was doing a lot of Miami Beach. At the Waverly building in Miami Beach, I pull up, I stand in front, my client's there, listing agent shows up, pulls up in a Lambo, gets out of the car. I'll never forget this guy's face. I can still see it in my head today. He sees me, he goes, "Are you David?" "Yes." "Let's go." All right. We go upstairs. He unlocks the door, he pushes the door open, and he goes, "Go, go, you look." And I'm like, okay, great job at showing your unit, right? Like, you know, you're used to agents going, "This is the kitchen, this is the bathroom." Like, we don't know what those look like, right? And he didn't even come in. He stayed outside. He was like on the phone the whole time. He was just completely rude. We finished the showing. I finished the showing. We walk outside. I said, "Hey, my client's probably gonna submit an offer." He goes, good, whatever. Never forget this guy. 2008, market crashes. What do? I shift with the market. I studied the hell out of short sales. I sold 60 short sales the first year the market crashed. 60. Me and an assistant with a stack of papers from the floor to here because we were faxing shit, okay? There was no equator and systems and any of that stuff yet. We were faxing all these documents to people. And we had created relationships with attorneys that were doing what? You guys remember? $500 a month foreclosure defense. Until they couldn't defend it anymore, and then it turned into a short sale, and I got that short sale. And I would sell that property for that client. We're helping people out. I go to TGI Fridays one day. Guess who my fucking waiter is? Can I take your order? I said, hey man, I know you. He goes, oh yeah? I go, yeah, how's real estate going? Because I'm an asshole. And he looks at me and goes, no, everybody got out of real estate. I go, no, not me. I'm doing really well. Actually, I just hired 2 people. And I just left it alone after that. And ever since then, in my coaching, I've called it the TGI Fridays effect. And many of you have an opportunity right now. You're sitting in this room right now. That means you give a shit about your business. Yes? Clap for that. The fact that you give a shit about your business gives you an opportunity and an edge ahead, because there are a lot of people that are not here. 56,000 agents are in our backyard. 650 of them are in this room right now. What does that tell you? That tells you that there's either a buttload of agents out there doing a shit ton of business, not happening, or there's a bunch of agents out there that are suffering and they're afraid to spend the $75 to come here. Or they don't care about educating themselves to get ahead. How incredible is that? Kudos to you guys. Now, who do you want to be in your freedom future? I call it the freedom future, right? Who do you want to be in your freedom future? Now, this picture might not be you. I had an incredible lesson. Can I tell you another story? Yes? Awesome. So I'm doing this coaching session. There's like 50 people in the room, right? And I'm rah, top producer, rah, you got to sell a house a day, rah, like going in. And this lady comes up to me at the end of the session. She goes, David, listen, I love your coaching. I love your motivation. But I don't want to sell a house a day. I said, all right, what do you want to do? Like, my brain is wired for excessive, compulsive, just enormous things, right? And she says, I just need to make $60,000 a year. And thank God that somewhere between leaving the Marine Corps and being in that position, somehow their filter came in between my brain and my mouth, because had I not had a filter, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why are you even here? Like, get a regular job, right? 60 grand a year. Who here could get a job for 60 grand a year right now, right? And she said to me, she said, David, I want you to understand, I'm a single mother, and I have 2 kids. And it is more important for me to go to baseball games, football games, cheerleading, basketball, than it is to go to showings, listing appointments, etc. She said, I have a townhouse that's paid for. I have a car that's paid for. I did that on purpose. I did that so that I can own my time. Her freedom was not making $1 million a month. Her freedom was the ability to have the time to spend time with her kids. And her budget was $60,000 a year. And it rewired my entire brain to what this picture stands for. Because this picture might be me. Rudy, is that picture your future? 100%. 100%, right? But some of you in the room going, I'm cool, I don't need that. Too many people die on private planes anyway. Right? I'm gonna show you a little picture here. That picture on the upper left-hand corner, that's 19-year-old PFC David Kurz. Picture on the top right, that's 21-year-old David looking at his first daughter, Olivia. Bottom left, I had the enormous opportunity and the pleasure to walk my cousin, who never had a father, down the aisle, and she asked me to do it in uniform. Picture on the bottom right is me and Rudy at one of the biggest moments in my life when I opened up one of my biggest businesses. And I'm telling you this stuff because I want you to know where I'm coming from. See, when I got out the Marine Corps, I spent 9 years as a weapons specialist. So I had like 3 choices when I got out the Marine Corps. the police department, the Bloods, or the Crips. That was it. Who else hires a weapons specialist? So I start going crazy and applying for jobs. This guy calls me up. His picture on the left, there's 3 guys on there. A guy on the right, bald guy, his name's George Waldenberg, owns a company called Kurz Steel Products. The guy on the right is Guillermo Silva. He's sitting inside of a pipe, or standing inside of a carbon steel pipe. Both very good friends of mine still to today. George Waldenberg sits in front of me. He says, listen, I'm gonna hire you. You obviously have no sales skills, but I'll teach you that. He goes, the one skill that I know you have is that you just got out of the Marine Corps, and compulsively you will need to be here on time, and you will do the job necessary while you're here. And I said, I can handle that. Immediately, I became his #1 salesperson on the floor year after year. At the same time, I had my real estate license. This was a normalized market, kind of the direction we're going now. 3 years at this company, I said to myself, I can't be here anymore. I need something more. You know what happened? I asked George if I could become the sales manager. The position opened up. Sales manager was retiring. You know what he told me? He says, I can't take you off the floor. He said, if I make you the sales manager and take you off the floor, I lose 40% of my sales. So I quit. But I quit the smart way. I went and I did real estate part-time. Now, let me help you understand my schedule. Because I said to myself, I will go real estate full-time when I make enough money in real estate to cover my expenses that I was making here, which I was making about 175, 180 here a year. And it took me 2 months. Let me tell you my schedule. Because when you hear this, I need you to understand that over the next year, with the way the shift is happening, you're gonna have to be obsessed and committed with your goals. You're gonna have to become obsessed and committed with your future, the future that you closed your eyes and you envisioned. I used to wake up in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I used to depart Homestead, Florida, to my job in Aventura, Florida. I drove to Aventura at 4 o'clock in the morning so that I could hit the gym at 5 a.m. at LA Fitness on 163rd Street. Some of you guys know it, I'm sure. I went to that LA Fitness, I worked out, I took a shower, I went to the office. I was in the office by 8 a.m. I didn't have to start work till 9. What do you think I did between 8 and 9? I sent emails and caught up with my real estate business. I went to lunch at 12 o'clock. I had to be back to work at 1. What do you think I did between 12 and 1? I worked on my real estate business. I got off work at 5 o'clock. I went to a Starbucks by Aventura Mall. You guys know which one I'm talking about? It's a little standalone building in front of Aventura Mall. I went to the Starbucks, and I worked there till 7. From 7 to 9, I would show properties if necessary. From 9 on, I would catch up with more real estate. Typically, I would go to sleep somewhere around midnight. Now, wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning the next day and do it again. Who here could have that kind of compulsion, passion, and decision-making opportunities to build their business? Clap it up. It's in each and every one of you. Nobody told me to do that. I just knew that I had no other time, and if I really wanted out of what I used to call my coffin, my cubicle, I used to call it my coffin. If I really wanted out of the coffin, I had to figure that out. And you guys are gonna have to figure this out over the next year, especially if you've only been in the business for less than 10 years. We're gonna fast forward to 2022. Where am I today? I'm partnered in my team. We run 2 teams in 2 states, or 1 team in 2 states. We're a multi-state team. I've published 2 books, one with Rudy. We did our first book together. Published the second book, and the third one is coming out. It's called Failure is a Lie. I host and co-host conferences all the time. I host masterminds. I own and operate a coaching business. And somehow, doing all of that, I figured out a way to find a badass wife. Where you at, baby? Woo. And that, ladies and men.
Hey, I still owe her $1,000, by the way.
Yes. A badass wife, I'm telling you.
Jen, I haven't forgotten about your 1K, wherever you are.
She hasn't forgotten either, honestly.
She won the Halloween costume contest last week.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about that. I wanted to show you this picture because this picture right here is my family. And I wanted to show you this picture because, one, there are no boys in this picture. I'm incapable of having boys even in a blended family, okay? And two, all but one of those people lives in my house right now. I know some of you are thinking, what the fuck? In my house right now, we have 3 of our daughters, my mother, and my mother-in-law. I grew up in the Bronx, right? I grew up in a very small apartment, shit apartment, killing roaches every day type shit, right? We grew up poor. And I used to dream of having a big house and being surrounded by hot women all the time. I used to dream about this, right? And I used to ask God for that shit all the time, because come on, guys. I was born in the 70s, so I was growing up in the 80s and 90s. It was Playboy season, right? You know? And so I used to think, I want to be in a big house with a lot of hot women. Well, I got what I asked for. I wasn't extremely specific with the universe. I just said hot women. Boom, here you go. 2 moms, bunch of kids, and a pretty wife, right? This is my house right here, and I wanted to show you this because we live in a 6-bedroom, 5-bathroom house out of necessity, because I just showed you who lives in my damn house. Like a lot of people, some of you in here are thinking, oh my God, I want to have a 6-bedroom, 5-bathroom house. And I'm thinking, God, I can't wait to have a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom. I'm on the opposite spectrum. Actually, I told my wife, we might skip the 2nd bedroom because people might want to fucking visit, right? And I wanted to share that with you because this next slide means the world to me. Toxic people are like cancer. If you keep them in your life, they will destroy your dreams, hopes, and ambitions. Do you think that I could ever possibly provide for all those beautiful women and do what we do on a daily basis if I continue to have toxic people around me? And that's something that you're gonna have to be very careful with over the next year. Because you're gonna come up with some crazy ideas leaving this conference, and those ideas are gonna push you to the next level, and you're gonna go home and you're gonna share that with somebody with a small thinking mind. And they're gonna say, why? Why would you do that? And who's that usually? Family, right? If you're Latino, it's mom. Just being real with you. Mommy, I'm thinking about investing $20,000 in my marketing over the next 6 months. Mijo, ¿por qué tú vas a hacer eso? What's wrong with you? So be careful with that. Now the market is shifting. And I don't want any of you, I swear to God, if I see one of your faces at a TGI Fridays, we're gonna have words. I want you guys to run towards the solution or run towards the problem and become the solution. Can you agree to do that? Give me a round of applause. Now I'm gonna show you guys some numbers right now to help you figure this out, because a lot of you are having conversations with buyers, and what are those buyers saying? The interest rates are too high. I don't know if I want to buy. Well, let me show you some numbers, right? First of all, we got to think about the future, and we're going to bring the future up. How many of you have a business plan? Raise your hand if you have a business plan. Because if you don't have a business plan, you're not really thinking about the future. The shit that we did in the beginning when we closed our eyes, that was a dream. If you don't have a business plan, you're never going to reach that dream. Y'all hear what I'm saying? 50% of people do not plan for or see their future. 50% of people, 20% of people only think about the future once a year. 30% of people never, ever, ever think about it. Think about that for a minute. Peter Drucker, who's responsible for, his writings is responsible for the way corporations run today, says the best way to predict the future is to create it. So we're gonna go through something right now and getting back to basics and having those conversations. We're going into this next year, the market's gonna shift. Peter Drucker also says the greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence. It's to act in yesterday's logic. So you guys are not gonna be able to do what you were doing 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, even a year ago. You're gonna have to shift, you're gonna have to change. Let's get to the conversation. You guys like interest rates, right? 1974, the interest rate was what? Read it for me, guys. 1981, what was the interest rate? 16. 16. Guess what? That was a pretty decent market. 1990, what was the interest rate? 10%, right? 2005, what was the interest rate? 5.87. 2016 interest rate, read it for me, guys. 3.65. I need this to get into your mind. 2021, what was it? 2.96. Let's compare that to something extra special. Housing prices. Housing prices in the 1970s was what? $17,000. That was the average national housing price. 1980s, 47,000. 1990s, 79,000. 2000s, 119,000. 2010s, 221. What was it in the 2020s? Come on, I can't hear you. 336,000 since 1950. The real estate market has gone up 326%. What is the difference between the housing prices and interest rates? Interest rates fluctuate and change. Housing prices do not. So the mindset and the conversations that you need to be happening today is, how long do you intend to keep your house? Is it a bad thing to buy a house at 6-7%? No. No, it's not. As long as you can afford your monthly payment, no, it's not. If you're gonna sit back and wait for the housing prices to come down, you're fucked according to the data. Am I wrong? So the conversations that you need to be having with buyers today is very simple. How long do you intend to keep your house? If it's gonna be long-term, like we discussed earlier, then you're in good shape. But if you're trying to flip it next year, this might not work out for you. By the way, if you buy today at, what's today's rates? 6-7%, right? If you buy today at 6-7% and next year they go down to 5.25%, what can you do? Refinance. By the way, your lenders would love that, okay? You could refinance and lower your monthly payment. If the interest rates go to 10%, you're safe, you're locked in at 6%, right? So what's the real problem here? The real problem is that you, as real estate professionals, keep regurgitating the shit that comes out on the news rather than looking at the data and changing the narrative. You are the professional. You are the real estate agent. Not CNN, not fucking Fox News, none of them. You are the professional. Change the fucking narrative. Have conversations with your buyers and bring them to the light. And have educated conversations. Study the data. Read a book. Listen to a podcast. Study the data. Open the MLS. Figure it out for yourself. Now, knowing all this information, I'm going to take 30 seconds. Close your eyes one more time. 5 years from now, where are you now? If you do everything you learned today and adjust your entire life, 5 years from now, where are you at? 10 years from now, where are you at? I really need you to focus on this, because I guarantee you the picture that you had at the beginning of this is extremely different than the picture that you have right now. And for some of you, it might not be, because you know exactly where you want to be in 5 years and in 10 years. Open your eyes. Round of applause if you feel like the next 5 and 10 years are going to be fucking amazing for you. This is a crazy opportunity. I'm going to recommend a couple books. Your Next 5 Moves, fantastic book. How to Win Friends and Influence People, another great book. The Little Red Sales book, another great book. Take a picture of this. That first book right there, The Blueprint, written by David Kurz and Rudy Hernandez. Second book is Take Action. We gave away a bunch of them today. Third book is coming out very soon, I would say by spring 2023. It's called Failure, and we're going to get really deep in this book. And we're going to change your mindset that failing forward is no longer alive. We intend to succeed forward. Because if you continue to succeed, everything in your life is just a hiccup. It's not a failure. Connect with me at the table outside. I would love to meet each and every one of you. We've got a wonderful coaching platform that's 100% free to real estate agents. All you got to do is scan the QR code in the front there. Join our coaching platform. Oh, it's up there. Man, you guys are freaking awesome. Take out your phones, scan the QR code, Join our community. Not only are there a ton of training videos and a ton of education in there, but there's also a community in which you can communicate with other agents similar to a Facebook feed and allow yourself to become a part of a community that cares about nothing but growth in life and business. You guys want to be a part of that? Love it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time.
All right. Give it up. Great job.